Hindi ako kulit na ito. Okay.
Vamos a hablar.
Inshallah. Be careful.
Okay. So set up.
Yeah.
Good afternoon to all the media houses that are present here. Welcome to the Motherland. My name is Dudu M.Y. Seka. I am the General Manager of Motherland and GTS. And before going further, I would like to hand over to Miss Milatu Jalo. Thank you very much. Oh, sorry, yeah, it should be Momodu Labe, AGE Alfu. So, fullers, they always have a long name. All right, yeah, point of correction, huh? I will now hand over to Momodu Labe. Yeah, Alfu Seni So, okay? All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. You are warmly welcome to Modulam Event Center. My name is Modulamin Age Almu Safso, and I am the chair of this prestigious occasion. Before we get started, I would like to introduce members of the high table. From my far right, or immediate right rather, it's Miss Jamila Tujalo. She is the Administrative Secretary of Read Gambia Foundation. And my immediate left, we have Mr. Dudu M.Y. Seka, who is the General Manager for GTS and Modeland, respectively. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor and distinct privilege to welcome you to this very important undertaking, marking the press conference of the Read Gambia Read-A-Thon 2025. I will mark this occasion by allowing our General Manager to welcome you on behalf of Modeland, the entire management and staff of Modeland, by delivering his welcoming remarks. And from there, we will go formally through the press conference itself. So you have the floor, Mr. Seka. You can take us through.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, all media houses present today, I welcome you to the Motherland Event Space Center. First of all, before I go further, I will tell you what services we offer here. We can offer all kind of service from weddings, stage shows, artist performance, conference, workshops, exhibition for arts, and a lot of things that can happen in Motherland. So it's a event space center. Okay. I know some of you have been here before to cover some of the artists, let's say like their album launching or their listening album party or some of the beauty pageant that happened before. All right. I welcome you all. And Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Seka. Ladies and gentlemen, without making any mistake, I would like to observe the various media houses here present, except for those who have not maybe registered using the list here. Uh, some of the handwritings are really, I have to drink Fanta or Coca-Cola maybe to recognize exactly where they're from. But I think this is Jungle Online TV, right? If that's the case, and we have the Voice newspaper and VOD media, and TTM media, T-Trend media, if that's the case here, and PYFC TV, you're welcome. TAT is also here with us with Bessel Media, Paradise TV, Sunyu TV, the Fatu Network, Paradise TV again, the Point Newspaper, Atlantic TV, Hilltop FM, and this is SSTV. I can, I don't recognize the rest. SS Media and TV, and then the last one, I don't know, I think it's something Real TV, you know. Well, my bad. We acknowledge all of you here, and your presence is very important because we are undertaking a national event which is called the Read Gambia Read-A-Thon. It's hard to pronounce, especially when the Jolas will say, "Au bujutukane, au yaya jamiyaye." But that's not the case here. Read-A-Thon. What is Readathon is? It's a reading event or reading competition because we have noticed that the Gambia, our country, have really earned the respect and admiration in the world for its peace and hospitality. More so our education too. We are doing extremely well through the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. We have very current education policies, and then excellent is really great. We are doing very, very well. But when it comes to reading and literacy, the country is lagging behind in that sector. So what can be done to complement efforts of the Gambia government through the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education? Currently, the Guinness record for longest reading marathon, the world record is being held by Nigeria for the longest reading in the world, not just Africa, the whole world. The longest reading marathon, I repeat, is the record is being held by Nigeria. About 3 to 5 Nigerian citizens competed, and then they got their names written in the Guinness Book of World Records for the reading marathon. The Gambia has never participated, not in a single activity, not as in a single domain. As we speak, we are hoping that one day maybe Gina Bass will also get her name written for athletics, such as Usain Bolt, who is the world's fastest athlete, who ran about 9 seconds for 100 meters. That's why his name is written there. So for the Gambia, we have never taken part in such an event, and we thought it is important to come up with the Read Gambia Readathon competition, which is an exciting annual event where young individuals compete for a prestigious prize to represent the country in the Guinness World Records Reading Challenge. These are young people between the ages of 16 to 30, and we have reached out to 32 schools. These tertiary institutions, colleges and universities, senior secondary schools, even vocational and skill training centers, if one is to be adding that as well. Their participation is so important such that if we look at the overview of our literacy in the Gambia, our current literacy rate according to UNESCO stands exactly at 60%, with males dominating the sector, with 75% of the Gambian population male are actually literate, and we have only 50% who are females. So this means that our male ratio is higher than the female ratio of literates in our country, according to the UNESCO, indicating a very huge gap in our education sector. The trends in reading is impressive because we have about 53% of the population, the ratio, reading ratio, which is different from the literacy ratio, all right? So it's very, very good. And the Gambia government has so many programs and initiatives through MOPSI, implementing policies to enhance literacy and promote reading culture nationwide, which is very, very good. Now, what can be done to complement the efforts of the government? If you look at the number of girls enrollment in senior secondary school from 2021 to 2025, it stands at only 55% of girls were enrolled. This cannot be compared to the male ratio of about 65% of boys. So 55 is really too small compared to 65. Now, the number has escalated from 2021 to 2025 to 75% of boys were enrolled in senior secondary school. Now, our literacy impact on employment as well is very, very big, because this is why we are advocating for inclusion of women in all walks of life so that we can bridge that gap. Another indication is our access to resources, which is very, very limited to libraries. The UNESCO report also indicated that currently we have 194 people per library in Africa, if you are to classify the gap in libraries. Each 194 people will have access to just one library. So this shows that we have so many huge gap in that particular sector where we need more community libraries just to encourage literacy, literature, and education. Poverty also has a huge impact on education, as families prioritize basic and secondary education. The Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education have a free education system from primary down to, I think, senior secondary school. Even though this is not, when we say free, we are referring to the basic education policy here. That doesn't mean the education system is completely free. We have an impressive one, but there are challenges that we need to address as a nation. We are not a group of people who go to the social media to say what government did or what they didn't do. But what we can do is to look at the demography, look at the heat gaps in between, and see what role can be played to complement their efforts. And this is why the examination data from 2015 to 2022 reveals a significant challenges. These significant challenges in students' performance are very, very peculiar, particularly in English language proficiency. Despite the impressive results that we have every year from 2017 to date, schools perform extremely well. But when it comes to the overall statistic, they are performing below other countries such as Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Ghana, and Liberia. But when it comes to individual results, we have 9 A's, very good, 8 A's. Those results are very, very good. But overall statistic, that's where the problem lies. And that is why we are coming to address this particular challenge, as I have mentioned. Now, without any further ado, I will now hand over to Jamila, Miss Jamila Tujalo, to talk more about the Read-A-Thon competition, the participating schools, the invited guests, the level of preparation so far, even the challenges, before we hand over to the press and media for Q&A. In the meantime, Jamila, you have the floor.
Welcome once again to Financial Communication. I'm Ms. Readathon, Administrative Secretary, Read-A-Thon Foundation. Read-A-Thon Foundation.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Sorry. I just need to speak.
I think she's hungry,
Yeah, when players are hungry, they don't speak aloud, Yeah, we want to hear you if you can speak aloud. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you once again, and then you are all welcome. Thank you for honoring our invitation. I'm Miss Jamila Tujalo. The Administrative Secretary, Read Gambia. Read Gambia 2025. Read Gambia is a foundation which promotes education and literacy. The foundation was established in October 2025, and then we already invited so many other schools, especially Gambia High, Birkama Methodist, St. Peter's, and so many others. I cannot name all. There are up to 32 schools or even more. And then we already also invited so many dignitaries like the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, the Minister of Youth and Sport, the Embassy, the US Embassy in the Gambia, Officer Representative, Gambia Limited, and so many other dignitaries. I can name all. As you know, when you come the day, you will see all of them here, inshallah. And then the day is happening on the 1st of December 2025 at Motherland here, this event here, inshallah. The time is 3 p.m. upwards, inshallah. And then the tickets also, we're selling tickets. Those tickets we are selling is to support the event so that at least For the first time, this thing is happening in the Gambia here. When we saw it, we were able to take that form. Next year also, we can organize another Read-A-Thon. As he said earlier, this is the first time. So we are all urging Gambians, especially students, to come out and participate so that next year we will not hear thinking like Nigeria or other things. We just hear Gambia so that we can also represent the country at England for the Guinness World Record reading marathon, inshallah. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you very much, Miss Jamila Tujalo, for the very brief summary. When we say briefing, that was very brief, but they will have so many things to ask. I know them very well. They are brothers and sisters and colleagues in the media fraternity, so they must have so many questions for us. So, without any further ado, I will now like us to invite questions from the media. Yeah, we can have a Q&A session. Maybe, yeah, okay.
Yes, this is Omar Tal, Atlantic TV.
Yes, Omar. What is your question? You have the floor.
Jamila, have talked about members who, you guys have invited. If you look at it, geographically, it's only within the combos here. And this limitation goes beyond the greater particular like that the rural Gambia. Are you guys going to discuss over there so that you can participate in this event?
Yes, thank you for your wonderful question. This time around, because as we say, it's the first time we organizing such event in the country here. This time around, we only focus in the urban area here, but inshallah, we work more next year when the program went successful. Next year, we're going to invite all the schools in the Gambia. Let us come and participate.
Okay, so we
Yes.
have a follow-up. Almost 32 schools have been invited so far for this first edition. Now, don't you think this is a major softball on your side to invite all the 32 schools in the country within Greater Banjul area, with the exception of the schools outside that are outside campus? Can you look into this and to reshape your decision, to come with another decision, that could include all the schools across the country? Is this not a way of marginalization of the schools within the
Yeah, you want to answer?
No, it's fine. I will answer.
Yeah, thank you. Let me help her. Yeah, I see that Jamila is soft-spoken person. I don't need a microphone before you can hear me. Yeah, so that's a very good point. It's a very good question. In fact, when we met the permanent secretary at the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, who is also a guest speaker, even the Honorable Minister of Education will be among, the dignitaries invited to come and make a keynote speech. Before we commenced this preparation for the event, we had wanted to make sure that it becomes a nationwide event so that everybody will be included. But starting something requires at least a station, sort of. Even the Ministry of Education themselves, what they're doing, they cannot reach out to the whole country. They start at a point and then it goes up to the 7 regions of the country. So we are planning that this event will be commissioned to be an annual occasion. So it will be annual. Maybe this year we are starting here in Combo, but next academic year we can say we are going to LRR or maybe to another region. And then the competition will be specific for that particular region, not people within this region. Because if we had done this many, many times, one could question to say, oh, why are they not including XYZ? But it is for the first edition. For the first time, like I said, it has never happened. Gambia has never participated, never taken part in anything of such. So I think that answers your question. But our colleagues also, the students and our respected brothers and sisters and teachers in the provinces are very important. In fact, this is why we have drawn a panel of judges. If you look at our panel of judges, one of them is all the way from LRR, just to include them to the program. So they are not excluded. All of them are included in this particular event. Yeah, that's a very good question. I don't know if you have another.
No, let me give chance to others.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Good day, everyone. My name is Islam from the Salon. So I wanted to know if you are also considering private schools and also maybe some private schools, because some of them are also doing the curriculum that is being done in other schools. So whether they are also considered in this competition.
Thank you so much, Miss Binta Jallo. Let me see if my colleagues Jao, sorry, if my colleagues want to answer that or I respond.
Yeah, just like I said, and as he said before, I think if you are starting everything in life, you need to go step by step because we're talking about Gambia in general. So we cannot just centralize it because we need a lot of financial muscles, we need a lot of access, we need a good team. So starting here at Motherland, drawing the foundation, I think it's a good sample for us. And then when we had the first event, we will see from there. We'll see the outcome. And then we start engaging and pushing, try to reach other schools and, like you said, Arabic schools and private schools because they are all part of Gambia. Thank you very much.
You want to respond or react to
No, it's fine.
Miss Jao's question?
It's okay.
Yeah. That's good. In addition to what she has just asked about the madrasas and then the private schools, yes, we have reached out to all of them. Like I said earlier on, we do not discriminate as far as education is concerned. Extremely well when it comes to our education policy and everything. You will be so surprised as media of the funding is coming from World Bank, IMF, textbooks and things are relating to that because they are funding the education. So we are yet to be an independent country whereas we fund our own education. Other African countries have started that. In fact, they had to inculcate or include Kiswahili or Swahili in their curriculum. And Senegal is emulating that by even putting in Wolof. In Dakar, in Senegal, you learn Wolof. At the National Assembly, they speak Wolof. So maybe as time goes on, Gambia will also look into that critically to see not just the English language or French, which is impressive and very good, but to also see how we can even learn Sarahulle. I remember when I was in Kenya, people go to University of Nairobi, Kenya, to defend their thesis in Kiswahili or Swahili. I've never seen somebody at the University of the Gambia earning a bachelor's degree in Mandinka. That doesn't mean Mandinka is not important. But when we talk about education, we cannot divorce it completely from our culture, because it has an interlink. So that linkage is very, very important. This is why the Arabic section of this country has been neglected for so many years. Amongst the school we invited included them. We wrote to them. And I'm sure they have also prepared at least a candidate. And that takes me quickly to the participants coming. We need to tell you something about the participants or participating schools. Now, out of the 32 schools that will be participating, each school will send one candidate or one representative. Now, the representatives are required to read for 10 minutes on the stage. Since I was born, I have never had or seen any reading event in this country. Maybe you people have seen it, but for me, personally, I have not seen it. Especially a reading competition. It has never happened. It's for the first time we are bringing people live on the stage, holding books and reading live. What message are we sending to minister and the ministry and to Gambians? We want people to what? To read. Because even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ikra bismi rabbikal ladzi khalaq. But he told us what to read. But here you tell people this and that. They tell you you have to read, but they don't tell you what to read. We are here to tell people what to read. Okay? So we need to read ourselves. This is why one of the requirements in the competition is that the readers will be reading Gambian or African books. Before you read others, you must know who you are. You must read yourself before you can read others. That is why Allah said, Ikra bismi rabbikal ladzi khalaq. Read in the name of your Lord who created you, even before you worship him. You need to know him, then you can worship him. So if we want to read Western literature, we want to follow or emulate the Cambridge IGCSE lower secondary syllabus, is good, but we need to read ourselves. So this is why we are not encouraging foreign books in this competition. We are saying either Gambian or African books. That's what the participants will be reading live on the stage. Our chief judge is Madam Dow of the Gambia College, the vice principal, but she is not alone. There is a panel of judges. These are people with over 30 years experience in teaching. So obviously the ministry recommended them to us to serve as panel of judges. So it shows our mutual collaboration between us and the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. Yeah, so that answers your question. And still now I'm so...
Good afternoon. I'm Sinal from
Yeah.
earlier, I get to that you mentioned about the reading in the Gambia is lacking literacy.
Yeah.
So by looking at the event that you are organizing right now,
Yeah.
so how do you intend to close that?
Thank you. Thank you very, very much for the question, Ismaila. This is indeed a very, very important question. How we intend to bridge that gap first is by bringing schools together and encouraging reading or readership of ourselves, Gambian books and African books. Through that reading, we are going to write our report after the event. And in our report, we will write recommendations that we can send to the ministry, not just the ministry. As we speak, the National Assembly Select Committee on Education, I don't know whether you know, there is a select committee on education at the National Assembly. We invited the chairman of that committee so that not just at the parliamentary level, they go and drive vehicles and clap and then disperse. No, it's good. But we want them to also look at our education system. Distinguished media houses, brothers and sisters, it is so disheartening to know that the system of education that's been in existence from post-independence mainly focused on academics in the Gambia. Everybody can agree. You know academics, right? Book knowledge. From nursery school to grade 12 to university, book knowledge. They force you to buy pamphlets to read just to pass exams. Education is beyond that. Education shouldn't be just passing exams. This is why we have so many graduates without education. I don't know whether I should rephrase that statement. When I say graduates without education, people who went through the formal education system, but they are not knowledgeable. So they don't have the ability and skills needed to even perform in the work sector. So that is a huge gap that we are trying to bridge. So this is why by getting the chairman of the National Assembly Select Committee on Education present on the ground, seeing the school participants reading and seeing the event live will help us even in our report to find out what challenges they are faced at school level. Because we also had a nationwide tour. We went around to all the schools. We had tete-a-tete with the school authorities. We discussed with them. We were able to diagnose some of these things, and then we understand that the problem of readership is general. It's so big that the ministry cannot handle it alone. They have their own challenges at ministerial level, but also even at parental level, at societal level, community level, even at school level, there are problems internally that exist. So these are all cross-cutting, and what can be done is through an event like this to write recommendations that we can send to the ministry, that we can send to the National Assembly and other relevant institutions that are in line with what we are doing, to see how we can join hands together so that our second annual event, we can address some of those critical conditions. You know, critical conditions such as the exclusion, the marginalization of the madrasa system, the Arabic section of this country. It's like they don't even exist, you know. In anything people do, they don't include that section. But they are part and parcel with this, and they are also, they have a voice in this country. And when it comes to education, it shouldn't just be university, college, and secondary school. It should go beyond that. I think this answers your question, Ismaila. But I saw Jamila shaking her head. Maybe she has something to add.
No, it's okay for
Yeah,
now.
my
You
boss,
can just
you also
continue.
have. Okay. Yeah, Ismaila, you are through with your question? Or for now?
For now.
Okay. Yeah, madam.
My question is, this is the first time the Gambia is participating in such events, rather. What are the challenges faced so far?
Okay, thank you. Jamila will respond to that.
Okay, thank you for your wonderful question. The challenges we are facing right now is most of the schools there Most of the schools, we will go around to give them the invitation. They will go through it, but what they will tell us is that they cannot participate in the competition because, as we know, reading is our problem in the Gambia here, and then we want to eradicate that in the country. But that thing have already given us difficulty. Though we have so many other schools, as we listed, but still we're having some difficulty. Other schools are saying they are excluded. So we want to include them. We want them to come so that when the reading competition, we have the represent us in England, and then we're gonna encourage students to read in the country because it's very important to read. Thank you.
Nice. I have another question. This is about it. We also have schools like people with this other disability. So if there are performance also needed, and then if so, so how do you think they will go about it?
Okay, like Saint John's School for the Deaf. I think I should drink Coca-Cola to pronounce some of these things correctly, but my brain is assimilating the truth. Invitation has been sent to all of them so that they will be included because even people with disabilities, they have abilities. I think the UN had ratified that and a new name came. Instead of people with disabilities, I think it's people with special abilities, something like that. Yeah, I came across a new name, but maybe my brain will recall that as we're talking. Physically challenged, you know. Yeah, so they have special abilities and they should not be excluded from what we do. And this is why we have written to all of them. Like I said, the school for the deaf, we have also invited them. And that will be a challenge though, because if they bring somebody who is deaf or maybe dumb to read, it will be a challenge. But we are so grounded that we had to include medical doctors. We had to write to the Gambia Police Force headquarters to obtain a permit for the event. So a medical doctor will be present on the ground. Also, we had to get translators just in case they have a participant or representative coming from that school. I know they do things through sign languages. I don't know how that operates. It's not my expertise. I cannot pretend to know everything, but I am sure we will devise a way out. But simple answer, yes, they have been invited. Yeah. And I wanted to just buttress on what she said, but the question has already escaped my brain. It will come back. Your question was
Challenges.
oh, challenges. Yeah, yeah. So challenges, as Jamila highlighted, includes convincing schools to take part. You know, it's hard to get all the schools to take part because some of the schools you reach out to them, they don't understand what the Guinness World Record is all about. You know, you have to go down to their level to explain to them, to convince, to even send representatives. Some schools, these are not lower basic or senior secondary schools. I mean, mature institutions, tertiary institutions will tell you we don't have somebody to represent us. We're talking about reading. We're talking about you identifying just a student, a candidate to come on the stage and read a Gambian or African book. It can be any book. We don't even choose books ourselves. We want it to be so simple because it's just the first time we're doing it. And then it's not the finals because this is just the pre-evaluation stage where we will select out of maybe 32 schools only 5 candidates. Now we will train those candidates, you know, to go beyond the 10 minutes of readership, to go read for more than that so that they can be well prepared to represent the country outside. You know, so that's just something I wanted to buttress on. I saw so many hands up, so I should not do all the talking. I have to allow my senior, colleagues, you know, to also say one or two things. So thank you, madam, for your question. I saw a hand this end. Yes.
Yeah, good afternoon. As I see here from who is your main sponsor?
Yeah.
Social organizations like
Yeah, we have written to all the members of the diplomatic and the consular corps, the parastatals, the private public sector. Everybody has been invited, you know, to come grace the occasion. Like she mentioned, the U.S. ambassador to the Gambia, British High Commissioner, UNDP rep. We wrote to everybody, inviting them to come grace the occasion because it's about reading, you know. So that's one thing I wanted to just add on to what she said. And yes. Let me take him and come back to you. Okay.
Yeah, since schools in the middle of all my questions, is going to be on the rural sector. Since schools in the rural sector are not involved in this facilitation,
Yes.
is there any work in your pipeline to engage them for any future event so that they could prepare more and take part? Do you have any of those plans in the pipeline?
Yes, we do, and I even elaborated. But still, now I will allow my general manager to
Yeah, I
respond.
think we answered that before. Somebody did
Well,
about
it
it.
was answered, but
Yeah,
still to answer this question.
okay. I think anything you do in life, you need to have plan. You know what I mean? You wake up from plan A to B and C. So this is how the process is. You need to start it here at a very small number and then try to expand it, then centralize it in whole Gambia. Does that answer the question? So you still want me to
No,
elaborate?
it's okay. Yeah.
Definitely by next year, or sorry, by the next event. By the next event, inshallah, we will make sure that we reach out the whole length and breadth of Gambia, all the schools, everybody that needs to be included. Thank you.
Yeah, it will be regional.
Yeah.
It will be regional. Looking at the schools that are participating, they are within 3 regions: West Coast, KM, and Banjul. But next year, we are excluding these regions. We are going to different regions. We will go there physically and then conduct the pre-selection, select some participants, and then take them. Yeah, so I think that answers your question, huh? My honorable brother. Perfect. Excellent. Yes,
I have a question on the combination.
no
The question
problem.
I pulled it from when you were
Okay.
speaking about the performance, the recent performance of
No problem.
the students.
Yeah.
You mentioned that it's overall performance compared to African countries is talking about.
Yeah.
So now, what I would say, with Gambia, what could be your take on that, and how are the social recommendation solutions network? So, my general recommendation about this event is how about you guys do it in a form of like the way Attila was done, that is spelling bee. You understand? Like you said, it's a starting level. You guys will find difficult and to put everyone in. And you guys will be motivated also to get everyone in. Then you have regional, like we said last year, and then from that regional, the best performance can come to the level that you guys want to have. For that to be a top level, so as no one will feel like excluded. Like he said, it's right, I would like to so it says. That's it.
Uh,
Yes, I want them to respond before. I don't want to do all the talking. Yeah, do you have something?
yeah, I think it's kind of similar situation to this guy because because I think we have 7 regions in the Gambia. So it needs a lot of financial muscle to finance a program in in each of the regions rather. You know what I mean? Because if we have 7 regions, for instance, we're gonna be having like different people, you understand, who will be having that kind of section. Let's say you go to Basel, you have it there, you come to Bara or you come to different area. Okay, if you wanna combine all these people, that's gonna be a huge amount of money. And to get that kind of sponsor at this time, it's not advisable. The best way is to start it like with a small number of people or in a certain place or certain area and then try to centralize it. Thank you.
Yeah, you wanna add?
Yes, sir. You can answer.
Okay, so general manager has elaborated more on that, and I think it's important. I will go by your recommendation. It's very, very good. Uh, just to let you know that Gambians have not seen reading events. Maybe they don't know how reading events are done. You know, it's very hard to see uh, events around in reading. I hardly see them. Maybe you people have seen before, but for me, I hardly see reading events happening across the country. It's a little bit different from spelling bee. It's not the spell bee competition. This is more of reading. And it's like I am an author, I write books. So we know how reading is done. Sometimes they can invite an author to do a reading of his or her own book. So it's a similar perspective that we are trying to address here. But at the same time, preparing candidates to represent the country in the Guinness World Records, like I said. Yeah, but it is more important that your recommendation is noted down. As I saw, I was able secretary writing. This is a good recommendation, and I, by the idea, I can say that it's good. We will consider it, especially we already told you that it will be annual. Now, the other thing still in line with your recommendation is about what are we going to do as a way of responding to the huge demography in the education sector. All right, so one thing is this. We have written and recommended that the Gambia should have a book policy. Are we together, my respected brothers and sisters? I have not had ladies speak. Maybe, ladies, the moment they talk, when they walk in the room, there is light, so they will talk later. The Gambia, please, we do not have a book policy. It's not in existence from independence to now. Other countries such as Nigeria, they have a book policy. What is a book policy? That's why when you go to Senegal or even Nigeria, it's good. In the school curriculum, we have the Curriculum Research Evaluation and Development Directorate. We call them CRED, the Region 1 Office kind of thing. They are responsible for our, curriculum and stuff, school-related activities and textbooks. They do the printing and stuff through the Gambia Printing and Publishing, whatever company. But you hardly find foreign books in Nigerian universities or schools. Even if you're a professor from Harvard or Oxford, foreign books will be like 1-2%. Maybe out of 100, 99 books will be written by Nigerians. You go to Senegal, let me not even mention them. Some of you have been there. Hardly you find a foreign book in Senegalese school curriculum, 1 or 2. But I leave you to answer our own country here. You go to our school curriculum, it's sympathetic. Not just the dominance of foreign teachers, but even the dominance of foreign books as well. So what we can recommend to the ministry is to have a book policy. In that book policy, we stipulate, we can even suggest a percentage, 50%, at least 60% should be Gambian books. We want to read ourselves. And if you want people to read, you should tell them what to read, right? So that answers your question, my honorable brother, in addition to what my able general manager has said. Somebody's hand was up and I told the person I'll be back. I don't know.
During the event, how do you intend to ensure there's accountability and transparency in the events?
When you say event, we do have different kind of events.
For this one,
Okay, for this one, sorry, the transparency of the
event, how transparent the event is going to be?
Of course, yes.
Among the participants who are going to take part in it.
I think it's going to be on record. It's going to be recorded by TVs and media houses, and there will be judges that will know that they have been in this business, let's say, or they have been in schools for over 30 years or more. You know that. So only the judges can certify like this or do so.
Who are some of those judges, who are going to take part?
Basically, they are from the Ministry of Education. I may not know their name, but Mr. Shaw and the team have done a great job, and they recommend them that they will be the judges.
Yeah, I have already given a name, just one name of the chief judge. I think most of you actually the lady that I'm talking about, Madam Aisha Tundao of the Gambia College. She is the vice principal of the college. Yeah, but not just her. We have other names. Okay, go ahead then.
No, and sorry, did I answer your question? Is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to know what packages do you have for the participants?
Okay, I think so. Come up with that one.
Okay. I don't want to do all the talking. Yeah, the package we have for the students, when you say package, it comes with something big. We are not giving them money. If you want people to read, you don't give them money. It's not an event where people go home with $1 million, 10,000. No, we don't do that. But we will give them certificate for participating or taking part in the event, and the winners will be encouraged, so that we will be selecting 5 out of the lot, and we train them, groom them, and then we make sure that they represent the country in England during the Guinness World Records event. Okay, so I think that alone is more than encouragement. Going.
In follow-up to our question, don't you think that it is of great importance to give financial reimbursement So anyone who emerges as winner or runner-up or
Yeah, that is good. That
it's
is
a sign
good.
of encouragement in your participation.
Yeah, it is, but not as of now. Like we have said, we are funding the event ourselves. We are doing it in partnership with just few stakeholders. Maybe next time during our second annual event, we may include money. But as of now, we cannot actually give money to our participants. Yes, sir.
But analytics and money that I don't think it's not a question. I think you were talking about the 60% of the book that's supposed to be read.
Yes, yes, yes.
But we all know when we came during the colonial times, I can say, to the support of the Gambian represent, most of these books are important. Why do we don't have Gambians, right? You know what I mean? Even some extent of that regionalism. We have at the later part in the 80s where we have these books from Nigeria, etc. So I think that is the problem, or that emanates the problem. That's why you have a lot of foreign books that we are reading today. But then it goes back to you people as an author, scribblers, whatever. You know, you have the organization. So I think in as much as we will have 50% or 60% of the Gambian books in schools and other facilities, I think you people also should be up to that stage as an organization to write more, like more of more results, more of, I mean, people that I normally have on my exclusivity of the writers. So I think this goes back to you people, so that it's something that I want you guys to be working on. Because if you don't have much to read, I mean, they have becomes a problem. But if you have a volume to read, then here are the percentage and the people want to talk. So what would you thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Big Sam. This is a very good one, and I totally agree with you. You know, from the colonial era to date, we have seen that foreign dominance of foreign books in our school curriculum, and one could say it's not just deliberate. It happened due to a reason. One of the reasons is what you have mentioned about the advent of Gambian writers, which is very true, because the first Gambian novel, the first ever book to be considered a Gambian book, was published the year the Gambia gained independence in 1965, the second round by London Peters. You know, so from 65 to date, we all know that it's not much, even though the huge gap, the number of years there is big, but the Gambia does not have a conventional book publisher. When we say conventional, you just do the manuscript as an author, and they will do everything: editing, proofreading, marketing, distribution throughout the whole world. You just sign a contract and they pay you. We don't have that. People who call themselves publishers are just printers. So they use the GOGA, the garbage in, garbage out system in writing. You have your manuscript, you go there, they charge you. Whatever is written in that manuscript is what they go out to actually print for you. And then whatever error is there, they are not responsible. But in advanced countries such as Nigeria, a printer will never print your book with that error, because the name of the company, the logo of that company that printed the book will be there. So they will be in charge of the responsibility. And it has to do with copyright, intellectual property. You know, so they are very cautious of that. But as a country that is just a fetus, we are not even a baby in the literary world. We are in the womb and we are struggling to be born. I think we have a long way to go, and it cannot go in the absence of writers like me and the Writers Association. We have been doing a lot, but I think a lot still remains to be done. And that recommendation too has been noted down, and I think it will transcend down to the association level to make sure that in the 2000s, you know, there used to be what we call FTI. I don't know how many journalists know that. Maybe you don't even know what I'm saying. The FTI is the Fast Track Initiative Project. Fast Track Initiative, yeah, FTI. So during that time, the Ministry of Education, through curriculum, will recommend Gambian books. They will take bulks of books written by Gambians, they review them, they recommend that let the books be used in schools. And then they will buy and send them to schools. Because there was a project, World Bank project, EU project, more of FTI. But it's been antiquated, it's been bygone, you know, and it's not been replaced. I remember the likes of Michael Hamadi II, his book, The Shock, was bought, over 500,000 copies were bought and sent to schools, and they were introduced in schools. But after that, there was no funding, you know, so up to now the project has failed and no funding has actually come. And that too has also affected the level of Gambian books going to schools, But all those things are good to be captured in the press and media so that we can also elaborate people, let people be aware of some of these things. Yeah, so people from this side, I mean, far extreme, and you have something high.